32nd shloka. First canto, 8th chapter, 32nd shloka. केचुराहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्यान्वयाये मलस्येव चन्दनम् केचिदाहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्यान्वयाये मलयस्येव चन्दनम् केचिदाहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्यान्वयाये प्रियस्यान्वयाये malayasyev chandanam. So some people say, why you are born, though you are unborn, still you take birth. Why kirtaye yad punya shlokasya yaduhu, to glorify the great Yadu kings. You have appeared. Though you are ajam, unborn, still you have appeared. Priyas anbhavaye, in the family of your dear Yadus, you have appeared to increase their glories. Like how the sandalwood comes in the Malaya hills. And in this way, the Malaya hills gains prominence. So one of the dearest devotees are the King Yadu, is the King Yadu. And you have appeared to please King Yadu. The Yadu dynasty you have come. So the reasons of Krishna's appearance has been given from 32, 33, 34. Then you have 35. These are all the reasons of Krishna's appearance. Told by Kunti Maharani. Okay, Vimla Mataji read.
Hare Krishna. केचिदाहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्यान्वयाये मलयस्येव चन्दनम्. Translation. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya hills. Purport: because the Lord's appearance in this material world is bewildering, there are different opinions about the birth of the unborn. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he takes his birth in the material world, although he is the Lord of all creations and he is unborn. So there cannot be any denial of the birth of the unborn because he himself establishes the truth. But still, there are different opinions as to why he takes his birth. That is also declared in the Bhagavad Gita. He appears by his own internal potency to re-establish the principles of religion and to protect the pious and to annihilate the impious. That is the mission of the appearance of the unborn. Still, it is said that the Lord is there to glorify the pious king Yudhishthira. Lord Shri Krishna certainly wanted to establish the kingdom of the Pandavas for the good of all in the world. When there is a pious king ruling over the world, the people are happy. When the ruler is impious, the people are unhappy. In the age of Kali, in most cases, the rulers are impious and therefore the citizens are also continuously unhappy. But in the case of democracy, the impious citizens themselves elect their representatives to rule over them, and therefore they cannot blame anyone for their unhappiness. Maharaja Nal was also celebrated as a great pious king, but he had no connection with Lord Krishna. Therefore, Maharaja Yudhishthir is meant here to be glorified by Lord Krishna. The Lord had already glorified King Yadu, having taken birth in his family. Although he is known as Yadav, Yaduvira, Yadunandan, etc., he is always independent of such obligation. He is just like the sandalwood that grows in the Malay hills. Trees can grow anywhere and everywhere. Yet because the sandalwood trees grow mostly in the area of the Malay hills, the name sandalwood and the Malay hills are interrelated. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Lord is ever unborn like the sun, and yet he appears as the sun rises on the eastern horizon. As the sun is never the sun of the eastern horizon, So the Lord is no one's son, but he is the father of everything that be. Hare Krishna.
Mhm. So Malaya Hills got the importance because the sandalwood trees grow there. Okay. The sun rises in the eastern horizon. That is why eastern horizon has a prominence. The same way, like how sun is unborn, Lord is also unborn. He appears in Yadu family and gives glory to the Yadu family. This is one reason of Krishna's appearance. Another reason, though he is unborn, still he appears. Apare vasudevasya devakyam yachitobhyagat ajasvamasya shemaya vadhaya cha suratvisham. अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितोऽभ्यगात् अजस्त्वमस्य क्षेमाय वधाय च सुरद्विषाम्. So why you have appeared? Because Vasudeva and Devaki, they prayed for you. We know they come in the Ashtavasus. So the Vasudeva and Devaki, Sutapa and Pushni, they prayed that they want son like Lord. Lord said, there is nobody like me. I can appear. 3 times I will appear. So first time as Prishni Garbha, then as Vamana, and then as Krishna himself. So Vasudeva and Devaki, they did lot of penance, severe penance. That is why you appear as their son. Though you are ajastvam asya shemaya, though you are aja, unborn, why you are appearing? For the good. For the good of the devotees. Suradvisham, those who are envious of the demigods, to kill them, you appear. Vadhayacha, to kill them, you appear. To protect the good or to protect the devotees for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, Krishna says. So this is another second reason. You appear to protect the devotees and kill the demons. Krishna Priya Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Dandat Pranam Mataji. Text 33. Apare vasudevasya devakyam yachitobhyagat ajastvamasya kshemaya vadhaya cha suradvisham. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Others says that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Purport. It is also said that Vasudeva and Devaki, in their previous birth as Sutapa and Prishni, underwent a severe type of penance to get the Lord as their son. And as a result of such austerities, the Lord appeared as their son. It is already declared in the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears for the welfare of all people of the world and to vanish the asuras or the materialistic atheists. Hare Krishna.
So Lord appears to vanquish the demons, atheists. Now next reason, third reason of Lord's appearance. Bharavataranyanye bhuvo navo ibodhadi sidantya bhurivarena jato yatma bhuvartitah. Bharavataranyanye bhuvo nav ibodhadi sidantya bhurivarena jato yatma bhuvartitah. Bhara avataranaaya. Anye. Others say, why you have appeared? To reduce the burden of the earth. So we know that how Mother Earth goes to Brahma, cries, I am burdened by the impious kings. The Lord says, okay. Then Brahma says, okay, let us go and pray, Lord. Brahma prays with Purushukta. Then he hears the sound of Lord. Lord doesn't appear still. Lord says, I will appear. I'll appear to protect protect Mother Earth. Ask the Yadus to first go and take their positions. I'm going to come. So in this way, Lord appears to remove the burden of the earth. What is the only burden for the earth? The viraha of Krishna. She can just open the mouth and put everybody inside. For Mother Earth to swallow people, how much time it takes? Just she has to open the mouth, everybody are inside. But still, for her, what is it? Bhara. The separation from Krishna is Bhara. She is Lakshmi, na? Bharavatarana bhuvanava ivodado. So Lord appears because the world is overburdened, like the boat at sea is much aggrieved. And then again, Sidantya Bhuri Bharena. This is very much a burden, extreme burden. That is why Lord appears. Then Jata Yatma Bhuvarta, Jata. Why you are appearing? You are born because your Atma Bhuva, that is Brahma, who appears from your navel, he has prayed for you. Yes, he went and prayed. No? Mother Earth told. That is why he prayed. So you have come just because Brahma called you. That means you are satisfying everyone. But what about me? I am telling you to wait, you are not waiting. Brahmaji said you came. Now you come to give the glories to Yadu's family. You are coming to give protection to Vasudeva and Devaki. But what about me? Why you are not waiting? Why you are going away from us? In this way, you are appearing to diminish the trouble, but you are disappearing from here, and increasing our trouble. So this has a nice meaning inside. You are disappearing and giving us trouble. You appear and give and diminish trouble of many people, like Brahma also. Brahma is also more valuable than us. Now, why Brahma has been told? Okay, Devaki, Vasudeva, we can understand. But Brahma is also the see to please Brahma also, you can do anything. But what about us? You're giving us and going. Bimla, read.
Hare Krishna. Bharavatarayane yanve bhunav ivodana sidantya bhuribarena jato atma bhuvartuta. Others say that the world being overburdened like a boat at sea is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. Purport: Brahma, or the first living being born just after the creation, is the direct son of Narayana. Narayana, as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, first of all entered the material universe. Without spiritual contact, matter cannot create. This principle was followed from the very beginning of the creation. The Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower grown out of the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Vishnu is therefore known as Padmanabha. Brahma is known as Atmabhu because he was begotten directly from the father without any contact of mother Lakshmiji. Lakshmiji was present near Narayana, engaged in the service of the Lord, and still, without contact with Lakshmiji, Narayana begot Brahma. That is the omnipotency of the Lord. One who foolishly considers Narayana like other living beings should take a lesson from this. Narayana is not an ordinary living being. He is the personality of Godhead himself, and he has all the potencies of all the senses in all parts of his transcendental body. An ordinary living being begets a child by sexual intercourse, and he has no other means to beget a child other than the one designed for him. But Narayan, being omnipotent, is not bound to any condition of energy. He is complete and independent to do anything and everything by his various potencies very easily and perfectly. Brahma is therefore directly the son of the father and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore, he is known as Atmabhu. This Brahma is in charge of further creation in the universe, secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Shweta Dweep, which is the abode of the Kshirodakshai Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Whenever there is trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution, and if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consults and prays to the Kshirodaksha Vishnu for an incarnation and solution to the problems. Such a problem arose when Kansa and others were ruling over the earth, and the earth became too much overburdened by the misdeeds of the Asuras. Brahmaji, along with the other demigods, prayed at the shore of the Kshirodaksha ocean, and they were advised of the descent of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva and Devki. So some people say that the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji. Hare Krishna.
So some people say why Lord came? Just because Brahmaji prayed. Now let us see some other people what they say. Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma vihi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmi vihi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. Bhava means this material creation. Asmin, this klishyamanana, those are suffering in this material creation because of the science, avidya, kama karmibhi. Now, what are they desiring? They always want to work to have fruity work. Then, to be compassionate to them, what you have given the process, Shravana, Smarana, Arahani. Shravana means hearing, Smarana means remembering, Arahani means worshipping. Karishyan iti kechana. In this way, you have appeared to regenerate or to restart the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, so that the conditioned souls who are suffering might take advantage and gain liberation. See how Lord is so merciful. Lord appears to even give liberation to the conditioned souls. The process is what? Hearing about Him, speaking about Him. So Lord performs the leelas so that we can chant about Him, we can sing about Him, we can hear about Him. So the leelas are performed to uplift the conditioned souls. Okay, Kamalakshmi Mataji read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Tandot Mataji. Bhaveshmin Krishyamananam Avidya Kama Karmavi Shravana Smaran Arhani Karishyani Kechana. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. And yet others say that you appear to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. Purport. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asserts that He appears in every millennium just to re-establish the way of religion. The way of religion is made by the Supreme Lord. No one can manufacture a new path of religion, as is the fashion for certain ambitious persons. The factual way of religion is to accept the Lord as the supreme authority and thus render service unto Him in spontaneous love. A living being cannot help but render service because he is consciously made for that purpose. The only function of the living being is to render service to the Lord. The Lord is great, and living beings are subordinate to Him. Therefore, the duty of the living being is just to serve Him only. Unfortunately, the illusion living beings, out of misunderstanding only, become servants of the senses by material desire. This desire is called avidya or nescience. And out of such desire, the living being makes different plans for material enjoyment, entered about a perverted sex life. He therefore becomes entangled in the chain of birth and death by transmigrating into different bodies on different planets under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Unless, therefore, one is beyond the boundary of this nescience, one cannot get free from the threefold miseries of material life. That is the law of nature. The Lord, however, out of His causeless mercy, because he is more merciful to the suffering living beings than they can expect appears before them and renovates the principles of devotional service comprised of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, cooperating, and surrendering unto him. Adoption of all the above mentioned items or any one of them can help a conditioned soul get out of the tangle of these signs and thus become liberated from all material suffering created by the living being, illusioned by the external energy. This particular type of mercy is bestowed upon the living being by the Lord in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. So here 4 reasons have been given. First reason was what? You have come to increase the glories of Yadus. You have come because to protect the devotees and to kill the miscreants. You have come, Brahma has prayed for you, and you have come to regenerate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, and worshipping. Shruvanti gayanti gunantyabhikshalaṣah smaranti nandanti tava hitam janaha ta eva pasyantyachirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. Shruvanti gayanti gunantyabhikshalaṣah स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितां जनाः त एव पश्यन्त्य चिरेण तावकम् भव प्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम्. So, Shruvanti Gayanti Grunantya Avikshanasha. Avikshanasha means continuously. Those who are continuously chanting, hearing, chanting, Shruvanti, that means hearing, Gayanti, chanting, continuously, remembering also, Smaranti, Nandanti, they are taking pleasure on that. Tavahitam, your activities are so wonderful, they take pleasure in chanting, hearing, and others take pleasure in doing so. Certainly see your lotus feet. Tavakam bhava pravaha uparam padambujam. And they can easily stop the repetition of birth and death. Upaharamam means they can easily stop upaharamam, cessation, bhava pravaha, the repetition of birth and death. Why? Because they are interested in hearing and chanting. So these are the effects of hearing and chanting. The more we hear, the more we chant, the more we can see the lotus feet of Krishna and completely stop the repetition of birth and death. Okay, Gadadhar Prabhu, please read. Gadadhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Canto Mataji. Shrunavanti gayanti grananti abhikshanasah smaranti nandanti navehitam jana tayeva pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. Translation and purport to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna cannot be seen by our present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing a different condition of life full of spontaneous love of Godhead. When Sri Krishna was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, and Sisubala were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before your eye, it is not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with the hearing about the Lord from the right sources. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are generally heard, chanted, repeated, etc. by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord eye to eye. The reason is that the first item, Shravanam, is very important. If hearing is from the right sources, it acts very quickly. Generally, people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized persons may be very learned by academic qualifications, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service, hearing from them becomes a sheer waste of time. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other process become automatically perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associate, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwaraka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people in unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealing with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such hearings. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scripture, and that will help the hearer attain perfect by progressive development. One should not therefore consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendent to all mundane attachment. In all the above mentioned dealings of Lord, he is the hero in all circumstances, and hearing about him or about his devotees or combatants is conducive to spiritual life. It is said that Vedas and Puranas, etc., are all made to revive our lost relation with him. Hearing of all these scriptures is essential. Hare Krishna, Danat Nama.
Your voice is not heard, Prabhuji. How much you said? Finish reading? I was little deviated here.
He finished, Mataji.
I read
Finished.
But I saw little bit. Somebody came, so I had to talk to him. Okay. Anyhow, it is said that the Vedas and the Puranas. One second. One second. It is etc. are all made to revive the lost relationship with him. Hearing of all the scriptures is very much essential. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhu Pavune Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Karay Uday. This is the verse which speaks about it. Everyone is Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. Everybody has love for Krishna. So where that love went? Sometimes we say, no, how people are not hearing. When I tell them to chant, they say we don't have time. They don't want even Bhagavad Gita also. Everybody loves Krishna. The more they'll hear, they'll revive the lost relationship. It is not that we are developing love. We are not developing love either for ourselves or for others. We are reviving our love. Everybody has love for Krishna. It's not developing the love. Love is not from external to inside. It's inside, it is there with everyone. Okay. Next. Again, this is the most powerful verse. Very nice verse. Apyatyanastvam जिहाससि स्वित्सृहदोऽनुजीविनः येषां न चान्यद्भवतः पदाम्बुजा परायणं राजसु योजिता यो योजि योजितां हसाम् अप्यद्यनस्त्वं स्वकृते हितप्रभो जिहाससि स्वत्सुहृदोऽनुजीविनः येषां न चान्यद्भवतः पदाम्बुजात् परायणं राजसुयोजितां हसाम्. So, O Lord, api, if, adya, today, na, us, tvam, you, swakritah, self-executed, ihita, all duties, Prabhu, O my Lord, jihasasi, giving up, swit, possibly, suradah, intimate friends, anujivinaha, living at the mercy of, yesha, of whom, na, nor, cha, and, anyad, anyone else, bhavatah, your, padambuja, from the lotus feet, parayanam, dependent, rajasu, unto the kings, yojitaha, engaged in, amhasam, which means enmity. So here, Kunti Maharani says, today you are leaving us, but we are completely dependent on you. Anujivinaha, we are living at your mercy. And we have no friends. We have no one else to protect. We are completely parayanam, dependent on you. Rajasu, amhasam, they have enmity with us. The moment you leave us and go, they all will pounce on us. Because we don't have anyone as intimate as you. You think that we have Surada, we have any intimate friends? No, we don't. Swakritaha, you have executed all your duties, no doubt. You have given us the kingdom. But we are not yet protected. We are only protected by you. No one is there to be with us. No one is there to protect us. These kings are actually our enemies. They are all having enmity with us. They are not our enemies, but they consider us as their enemies. So this is a lesson for us to learn. No relatives are your protectors. It's only Krishna who protects everything. Sometimes we think, oh, our relatives are there, friends are there, social life is there. Nothing is going to protect us. Only Krishna is going to protect us at every difficulty. Apyadastam swakate hita, Prabhu, you may say that you have done your duty, but jihasasi, we have given up all our intimate friends, we don't have anyone. Anujivinaha, we are only living at your mercy. You are yesham nachanyat bhavataha. Your ambujaha is our parayanam. We are completely dependent on your lotus feet. The rajasu yojitam hasam. In this way, the kings are actually amhasam. Amhasam means the enemies. They consider us as their enemy. They have enmity with us. They are envious of us. Okay. Ashok Aneja Prabhu, please read.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम अप्यद्यं नस्त्वं स्वकृते हित प्रभो जिहाससि स्वित्सुहृदो अनुजीविनः येषां न चान्यत् भवता पदाम्बुजात् परायणं राजसु योजिता हसाम. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us, now when all kings are at enmity with us? Purport. The Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they are entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune. But in the case of our transcendental relation with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on him. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming independent of everything. But the cruel material nature does not allow us to become independent. The false attempt to become independent of the stringent laws of nature is known as material advancement of experimental knowledge. The whole material world is moving on this false attempt of becoming independent of the laws of nature. Beginning from Ramana, who wanted to prepare a direct staircase to the planets of heaven, down to the present age, they are trying to overcome the laws of nature. They are trying now to approach distant planetary systems by electronic mechanical power. But the highest goal of human civilization is to work hard under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. The highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work with valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. The Pandavas were the ideal executors of standard of civilization. Undoubtedly, they were completely dependent on the goodwill of Lord Shri Krishna, but they were not idle parasites of the Lord. They were all highly qualified, both with personal character and physical activities. Still, they always looked for the mercy of the Lord because they knew that every living being is dependent by constitutional position. The perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord instead of becoming falsely independent in the material world. Those who try to become falsely independent of the Lord are called anath or without any guardian, whereas those who are completely dependent on the will of the Lord are called sanatha or those having someone to protect. Therefore, we must try to be sanatha so that we can always be protected from the unfavorable condition of material existence. By the deluding power of the external material nature, we forget that the material condition
This Sanatha, Anatha Sanatha.
Asasanath. Oh,
Ah,
reverse of
Anatha,
anath.
nobody is there.
Reverse of anath, sanath.
Anatha means somebody is there. So who
Okay.
should be there? Lord should be there.
Nath, Lord. Okay. Dependent on the will of the Lord are called sanath, or those having someone to protect them. Therefore, we must try to be sanath so that we can always be protected from the unfavorable condition of material existence. By the deluding power of the external material nature, we forget that the material condition of life is the most undesirable perplexity. The Bhagavad Gita therefore directs us 7.19 that after many, many births, one fortunate person becomes aware of the fact that Vasudeva is all in all and that the best way of leading one's life is to surrender unto him completely. That is the sign of a Mahatma. All the members of the Pandava family are Mahatmas in the household life. Maharaja Yudhishthir was the head of these Mahatmas and Queen Kunti Devi was the mother. The lessons of Bhagavad Gita and the Puranas, especially the Bhagavad Puran, are therefore inevitably connected with the history of the Pandava Mahatmas. For them, separation from the Lord was just like a separation of a fish from water. Srimati Kunti Devi therefore felt such separation as a thunderbolt, and the whole prayer of Kunti is to try to persuade the Lord to stay with them. After the battle of Kurukshetra, although the inimical kings were killed, their sons and grandsons were still there to deal with the Pandavas. It is not only the Pandavas who were put into the condition of enmity, but all of us are always in such a condition. And the best way of living is to become completely dependent on the will of the Lord and thereby overcome all the difficulties of material existence. Hare Krishna.
वयं नाम रूपाभ्यां यदुभिः सह पाण्डवाः भवतो दर्शनं यर्हे ऋषिकाणाम् इवेशितुः हे वयं नाम रूपाभ्यां यदुभिः सह पाण्डवाः भवतो दर्शनं यर्हे ऋषिकाणाम् इवेशितुः के who are vayam we nama rupa without fame and ability yadubihi with the yadu saha along with pandava and the pandavas bhavatah your ardarshanam absence yarhi as if rishikanam of the senses iva like ishituhu of the living being as the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit. Similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities along with the Pandavas and Yadus will end. Nama Rupabhyam. There will be no fame and ability. If you, in your absence, Adarshan, like the comparison is Rishikanam Iva Ishitu. The senses, if the soul is not there, what is the use of the body? The body is completely finished. The senses are gone. If the living entity is gone, in the same way, if you are gone, all our name and fame, everything goes. Everything is finished. That means whatever you say, oh, you have given fame, name and fame, I have given everything now my work is over. You've done your duties, but our name and fame is only because you are there with us. You're looking upon us. If you are not there, that also will go. So don't think that it's a permanent situation. That means till as long as you serve Krishna, your name and fame is there. The moment you don't serve Krishna, stop serving Krishna, your name and fame, everything is gone. Prabhupada's name and fame is glorified everywhere. Prabhupada's name and fame. Why? Because he's serving Krishna. That means if a really person wants name and fame, he should become a devotee. In other words, you don't have to aspire for name and fame. Automatically they come. They come if you serve Krishna. You don't have to really work hard for getting name and fame. Generally in material world, people work hard to get name and fame. You just have to serve Krishna, automatically you are glorified. So name and fame is dependent on how much you are surrendered to Krishna. The materialistic name and fame, they are finished as much as it's like the living entity comes out of the body is gone. In the same way, materialistic name and fame goes as the end of the body. The body ends, the materialistic name, fame goes up. But spiritual name, fame always lasts. Mirabai, Tukaram, whoever has served Krishna, their glories are never ended. Even today, people sing about them. Alvars, 5,000 years before Alvars appeared. All Acharyas. Why still people are singing their name and fame? The only thing is, the only reason is they have served Krishna. Okay. Who will read Kusum? Read.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Sevayam nama rupadyam yadu vidisa pandava bhavato darshanam yarhi Ishikana Ivisipuhu. Translation in perfect by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. Purport: Kunti Devi is quite aware that the existence of the Pandavas is due to Sri Krishna only. The Pandavas are undoubtedly well established in name and fame and are guided by the great king Yudhishthira, who is morality personified, and the Yadus are undoubtedly great allies, but without the guidance of Lord Krishna, all of them are non-entities, as much as the senses of the body are useless without the guidance of consciousness. No one should be proud of his prestige, power, and fame without being guided by the favor of the Supreme Lord. The living beings are always dependent, and the ultimate dependable object is the Lord Himself. We may therefore invent by our advancement of material knowledge all sorts of counteracting material resources, but without being guided by the Lord, all such inventions end in fiasco, however strong and stout the reactionary elements may be. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथेदानीं गदाधर त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति स्वलक्षणविलक्षितैः नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथेदानीं गदाधर त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति स्वलक्षणविलक्षितैः नेयं शोभिष्यते. Our land is looking very beautiful just because your lotus feet is there. Now, if you go away, what will happen? Na shobhishyate. Na shobhishyate. It will not appear beautiful. Yathedanim gadad. How it is now, that all will go up. O Gadadhar, O Krishna. Tvat padai ankita bhati. Your lotus, the marks of your lotus feet are so dazzling, bhati. Swalakshana, vilakshite. They have your marks, they have your impressions. So there are beautiful impressions of the lotus feet of Lord. There is a flag, there is thunderbolt, there is elephant, gold, there is umbrella, there is lotus, there is Sudarshan, all wonderful lotus. You have swastik, you have pots, you have jamun, so many lotus feet marks are there. And that is why our land looks very beautiful. But now if you go away, what will happen? Na shobhishyate tat. Okay. Kamalakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Neyam sopishati tatra ide danim gadadara tvatpadir ankita pati suvalakshana vilakshitai. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O Gadadhara, Krishna, your kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. Purport. There are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of thunderbolt and instrument to the bottom of the Lord's feet. These marks are impressed upon the surface of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapura was thus marked by Lord Sri Krishna was there with the Pandavas, and the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. Kundi Devi pointed out these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Ime jana pada surdha supakvaushadhi virudha vanadrinadyudanvanto yadante tava vikshitaihi. Ime jana pada surdha supakvaushadhi virudha vanadrinadyanudvanto vanadrinadya udanvanto vanadrinadyudanvanto yedante tava vikshitai. Either you can read nadyudanvanto or naddi udanvanto. Nadyudanvanto. Actually, you should read nadyudanvanto. Vanadri nadyudanvanto yadante tava vikshitai. These cities and towns, they are swurdha, they are flourishing. All matured herbs are there. Supakva ushadihi. Viruddha vegetables are there. Vana, forest is there. Adri, hills, nadi, rivers, udanvantaha, seas. Edante. Because they are seen by you, that is why our cities are flourishing. Your glance is enough to make the cities and the villages flourish. The moment you go, what will happen? Everything will only be like how it is happening because of drought like that. Everything will be dried up. Nothing will be there. Okay. Vimla,
Imejam padaha sraddha supapvaushadha virudha vanagrin gudunto vananto vedinto te vikshate. All these purports, translation, all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Purport. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out of the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. The natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme. And as he desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit the material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river water fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural propensity be maintained by His grace. Hare Krishna.
अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमं छिन्दी दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिदं छिन्दी दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु. O Lord, you are Vishvesha, the Lord of the universe. Vishwatma. Vishwatma, you are the soul of the universe. Vishwamurti, you are the personality of the whole universe. Swakeshu, oh, just because I have the sneha passion, this strive for my own kinsmen, that is why I have become very selfish. And in this way, I want you to be here, but I don't want you to be sent to the Vrishnis. But they also want you. So better is cut off my tie with Pandavas also and Vrishnis also. Just because I have affection for my sons, I want their glories to be never ended. That means I am selfish. So better is, Lord, cut off my all ties to all these kinsmen, Pandavas and Vrishnis. I just want to serve you. Other all relationships, just cut it off. Just see Pandavas, the greatest devotees. Now here, Kunti Maharani says, though they are greatest devotees, but my love towards them was on the selfish platform. Their concern for them was on the selfish platform. Loving a devotee is very good. The relative is a devotee, you love them. But having a concern on a wrong platform, then what will happen? Our religions will go away, everything will go. But in this way, having concern on a materialistic platform, that is why, oh Lord, you cut off my ties with all these relatives. Okay? Kusum, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Atha Vishvesh Vishwatman Vishwamurte Swakeshu Me Snehapasham Imam Chindi Hridam Pandusu Vrishnisu. Translation: O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Purport. A pure devotee of the Lord is ashamed to ask anything in self-interest from the Lord. But the
The most
householders
important
sometimes
statement Srila
obliged.
Prabhupada says, if your devotee is ashamed, it's actually a shame if you ask something from the Lord. That means you are doubting the Lord's capacity, isn't it? The Lord has so much to give, and what capacity we have to ask. The most shameful thing if we ask something to Lord. Okay, read further.
But the householders are sometimes obliged to ask favors from the Lord, being bound by the tie of family affection. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and therefore she prayed to the Lord to cut off the affectionate tie from her own kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. The Pandavas are her own sons, and the Vrishnis are the members of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both the families. Both the families required the Lord's help because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti Devi wished Sri Krishna to remain with her sons, the Pandavas, but by his doing so, her paternal house would be bereft of the benefit. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she desired to cut off the affectionate tie. A pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for all forgotten souls. The typical example is the band of six Goswamis who followed the path of Lord Chaitanya. All of them belonged to the most enlightened and cultured rich families of the higher castes, but for the benefit of the mass of population, they left their comfortable homes and became mendicants. To cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities. Without doing this, no one can be qualified as a Brahmana, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of the Lord. The personality of Godhead as an ideal king showed this by example. Sri Ramachandra cut off the tie of affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as a Brahmana, a devotee, a king, or a public leader must be very broad minded in discharging their respective duties. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and being weak, she prayed to be free from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of universe or the Lord of the universal mind, indicating his all powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him and thus clears the path for his going back to Godhead. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
त्वयि मे अनन्यया विश्य त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वता अद्धा गङ्गेवौघम् उदन्वती त्वयि मे अनन्या विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहता हद्दा रतिम् उद्वहता अद्धा गङ्गैवौघम् उदन्वती. Again, very powerful words, O Madhu. O Lord of Madhu, Madhupati, the Lord of Madhu, the Lord of sweetness. Bees go where sweetness is there. There's also another meaning. Ananya Vishay. Unalloyed devotion. Let me have unalloyed devotion towards you. There should not be any tinge of any materialistic gain. Like how the Ganga flows to meet the sea. So many hurdles are there. So many hindrances come. But without obstructing oneself with the hindrances, Ganga flows towards the sea. Let my attraction to be on you be constantly drawn. Let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anything else. So in that type of love, let me be with you. Okay, so such type of desire that let me have unalloyed devotion towards. Okay, Kamalakshi Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Tvaime ananya vishaya Madir Madhupate Asak Asak Ratim Utva Hadat Atta Gange Uham Udanvadi. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Purport. Perfection of pure devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendent loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affection does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others because this is a symptom of life. The symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, angerings, feelings, and attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, we can see that Arjuna desired not to fight with his brothers and relations just to satisfy his own personal desires. But when he heard the message of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he changed his decision and served the Lord. And for his doing so, he became a famous devotee of the Lord. For it is declared in all the scriptures that Arjuna attained spiritual perfection by devotional service to the Lord in friendship. The fighting was there, the friendship was there. Arjuna was there and Krishna was there, but Arjuna became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Kundi also indicate the same categorical changes in activities. Srimati Kundi wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. This unalloyed devotion is the ultimate goal of life. Our attention is usually diverted to the service of something which is non-godly or not in the program of the Lord. And the program is changed into the service of the Lord. That is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, it is called pure unalloyed devotion service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayed for it from the Lord. Her affection for the Pandavas and the Krishnas is not out of the range of devotional service because the service of the Lord and the service of the devotees are identical. Sometimes service to the devotee is more valuable than service to the Lord. But here the affection of Kundi Devi for the Pandavas and the Krishnas was due to family relation. This type of affection in terms of material relation is the relation of Maya, because the relation of the body or the mind are due to the influence of the external energy. Relations of the soul established in the relation with the Supreme Soul are factual relations. When Kundi Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by the via medium of the relation with the super soul. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So that is a way of devotional service, having unalloyed devotion. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti adokshade ahaitati apratiyata yatmasu prasidati. Next, last verse of Kunti Maharani prayers. Then we have still more 4-5 verses to complete the chapter. Shri Krishna Krishna Satavrishna Vrishnirushbhavanadhu Rajanya Vamshadhanana Pavarkavirya Govinda Godvija Sura Tiharavatara Yogeshwara Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Vrishni Rushabhavani. Shri Krishna Krishna Saka Vrishni Rishabhavani Dhru Rajanya Vamsha Dahanana Pavarka Virya Govinda Godvija Surarti Haravatara Yogeshwara Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha. Now see how Kundi Mara is calling. Oh, you are my Krishna, you are Krishna's Sakha, Krishna Sakha, oh friend of Arjuna, Krishna Sakha. Then Vrishni, descendant of Vrishni, Rishabha, you are the chief Avani of the earth. Drug, rebellious, Rajanya Vamshaha, the rebellious dynasties of the kings. Dahana, you are the annihilator of them. Anapavargaha, without deterioration of Virya, prowess. Govinda, O proprietor of the Golok Dham. Go, cows, Bija, Ravana, Sura, demigods, Artiha, to relieve distress. Avatar, O Lord who descend. Yogeshwara, O master of all the mystic powers. Akhila, universal. Guru, you are the Guru preceptor. Bhagavan, O possessor of all the opulences. Namate, respectful obeisances unto you. So, O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief among the descendants of Vishnu, you are destroyer of all the political parties who are disturbing elements of this earth. Your prowess never detracts. You are the proprietor of all the transcendental abode. You descend to relieve cows, brahmanas, devotees, distress of them. You possess all the mystic power. You are the preceptor of the entire universe. Jagat Guru. You are the Almighty God. I offer obeisances to you. So in this way, now she is really embarrassing Krishna. You are everything. You are a great person. I offer obeisances to you. Please, I'll not stop you also, but at the same time, I want unalloyed devotion to you. Let my bondage to all the family members be completely removed. In this way, Kunti Maharani prays. But she wants unalloyed devotion to Lord. Krishna Priya, read.
Sri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishabhavana Nigrun Rajanya Vamsa Dahanana Pavarga Virya Govinda Godvija Surartita Haravatara Yogeshwara Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the transcendents of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your provises never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distress of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. Purport. A summary of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is made herein by Srimati Kunti Devi. The Almighty Lord has his eternal transcendental abode, where he is engaged in keeping Surbhi cows. He is served by hundreds and thousands of godheads of fortune. He descends on the material world to reclaim his devotees and to annihilate to disturbing elements in group of political parties and kings who are supposed to be in charge of administration work. He creates, maintains, and annihilates by his unlimited energies. And still, he is always full with fires and does not deteriorate in potency. The cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees of the Lord are all objects of his special attention because they are very important factor of the general welfare of living beings. Hare Krishna.
The cows, brahmanas, and the devotees. Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. So cows, brahmanas, devotees are all objects of special attention. Very clearly, Srila Prabhupada writes that Krishna has appeared to protect the cows, brahmanas, and the devotees. And so they are the objects of the special attention because they're very important factors for the general welfare of. Okay. We stop here. So you all study till here nicely. January, I'll have directly class. 6, 7, 7, 8, 9 will be your exam. 7th chapter, 8th chapter, 9th chapter. So we'll start in January. Tomorrow I have to go to Sri Rangam Yatra. Okay. Starting Panchakalpatarivesha Kripa Sindhu Vyacha Patitanam Pavani Part